What is up guys, Stark here. I am back for another Fate video, and in today's video, we're going to be doing the character spotlight for the new 5-star banner character, Sitonai. So Sitonai is available on the Oniland Pickup Summon banner, and she will be coming out as a 5-star alter ego. So this is already pretty cool because there aren't very many alter egos in the game, and this will be a pretty good opportunity to pick one up. Although I do say pick up one pretty easily, but you know, go watch my poll video and then make your decision on that. And that's all I'm going to say about that. This isn't the time or the place for that. We're talking about the character as a whole. So yeah, Ilya comes back as an alter ego in the form of Sitonai. I think that's pretty obvious there, just looking at her, that it's Ilya. And at level 90, she will have 13,965 HP and 11,668 attack. This will rank her 33rd overall in HP and 29th overall in attack. Her star absorption is 102, her star generation is 10.2%, and her noble phantasm generation is 0.83 on her attacks and 4% on defense. So for Ilya's kit, she pretty much has a little bit of everything, honestly. She's got some offense, some defense, and some noble phantasm generation there for her noble phantasm in the form of a battery. Her first skill is going to be the Snow Fairy EX. This will apply invincible to herself for 1 turn. This will also apply damage cut to all allies 3 times over the course of 3 turns. So getting the invincibility is really nice. Obviously it makes your survivability go up pretty significantly when you're able to dodge Noble Phantasms on Noble Phantasm turns. And then the damage cut is also pretty good as well for your entire team. It's only 500 damage and it only does last for 3 times, but you know, it is still pretty nice. Anytime you have a damage cut, so it's going to be very helpful. And the 6-turn charge time, well, it is a little bit high. Overall, it's not too bad for what you get out of it. Her second skill is the Emotional Freezing Bee. This will increase your arts card effectiveness for 3 turns. This will also apply debuff immunity 1 time over the course of 3 turns. So this one is on a 5-turn charge time, which is much better than her first skill. And you do get that little bit of a boost to your arts card effectiveness in a 30% increase, which actually isn't really that little of a boost. It's actually a pretty good boost there. So that's definitely going to help, and Ilya is definitely an art-centered servant, so it's going to be very beneficial to you. And being able to, you know, have debuff immunity, although it lasts 1 time, it's still going to be very helpful if you know the boss is using a debuff, but at the same time, more often than not, you're not going to be using this for the debuff immunity, you're going to be using this for the arts boost. So if you do happen to get that debuff immunity to go off while you're using your arts boost, then that's just going to be a bit of an added bonus. Her third and final skill is going to be the Kamui Yukar A. This will have a chance to increase her own attack by 20% for 3 turns. This will also have a chance to gain 10 critical stars every turn for 3 turns. And this will also increase her Noble Phantasm gauge. So this is going to be on a 6-turn charge time, which for something like this is going to be pretty standard. The obvious big glaring flaw on this skill is that it is a chance-based skill. Now you do have an 80% chance at max level, so bringing someone like Ozzy in is going to be very helpful in order to get that success rate to 100 and able to get your skills to trigger 100% of the time, which obviously is a lot better than 80%. And then if you can get that to go off, then this skill is actually really good. One other thing to note here is that by comboing Sitonai with Chloe, who has an upgrade to her Kissing Free skill, this will actually give you the ability to increase your boss success rate for Ilya characters by 30%. So by comboing the 2 of them together, you'll be able to easily get the Kamui Yukar skill off with a 100% success rate. So if you do have Chloe and you do have her interlude upgraded, then you'll be good to go. And I do believe that is available on Global at this point in time. So yeah, if you do have Chloe, 100%, you know, try and combo her together there. They do work really well together anyway, so it's just a really good choice. As for Sitonai's passive, she's going to have 4. The first one is Magic Resistance Z, which will increase your debuff resistance by 15%. The second one is the Territory Creation A, which will increase your arts card effectiveness by 10%. Her third one is Item Construction B, which will increase your debuff chance rate by 8%. And finally, you have the Core of the Goddess B, which will apply damage plus 225 and increase your debuff resist for yourself by 22.5%. So all in all, I do think Sitonai has a pretty good kit of skills. Now, she doesn't have everything, you know, she's not really going to be big on crits, even though she can generate those stars every turn. And the fact that you have chance-based skills or percentage-based skills on your third skill is going to be a bit of a drawback. She does lose points because of that, even if there is, you know, a couple options there for you to be able to use in order to get rid of that negative thing. It's just the fact that it's built into her kit, and I take that into account when I'm doing these rankings. So overall, she does get 4 stars for her skills. So for Sitonai's command card deck and her command chains and herbal Phantasm, she is going to have 1 quick, 2 arts, 2 buster on her command card deck, with 4 hits on the quick cards, 2 hits on the arts cards, 3 hits on her buster cards, and 5 hits on her extra attack. Now, since Sitonai is an alter ego character, naturally she's going to have buffed advantage over riders, casters, and assassins, so her damage might seem a little bit high here, but that's just because you're only going to really bring her into battles against those characters, maybe berserkers, but you're not going to bring her into characters against archers, lancers, or sabers because she's not effective against them. So her stats look a little skewed because of that, especially on the damage, but for overall, for your best damage output for your command chains, you're going to go Buster Arts, Buster Extra. For your Noble Phantasm gain, you're going to bring out a support arts card, and then you're going to use your 2 arts cards, and that'll give you 80% of your gauge filled. Now this does include her third skill, or no, second skill. Whichever one of her skills gives you the Noble Phantasm increase. Yeah, it's her third skill. So that'll be the 30% increase there, but you still get a 50% increase, which is still really nice. And then for stars, you're going to have to bring in 2 extra quick cards, and then you're going to use her quick card for 29 critical stars, and then once again that does include her third skill, but even if you take that out, you get 19 stars, which is pretty nice overall. As far as her Noble Phantasm goes, it's going to be an arts card, and this will deal damage to a single enemy, as well as decreasing a charge for dragon enemies by 1. So if the enemy that you use it on is a dragon type enemy, it'll reduce their charge by 1 effectively. So that's kind of annoying that it only works on dragon enemies, but if you are going up against a dragon enemy, then it's going to be very beneficial for you. And then for the overcharge effect, this will decrease defense for a single enemy for 3 turns by 20 to 40%, and this will also decrease critical rate for that enemy for 3 turns by 20 to 40%. So overall, as far as damage goes, I do think Sitonai can do some pretty good damage, and once again, you're not going to bring her into a disadvantage fight, so you know you're going to get extra damage against those enemies just by bringing her into the fight. And outside of that, she does have some pretty good skills to boost her overall damage, and her Noble Phantasm is pretty strong as well, so 4 stars for that. For her critical ability, she's only going to get 3.5 stars. This is mainly due to her third skill, where you're able to generate 10 stars every turn for 3 turns, so that's a pretty good amount of stars there. But overall, outside of that, she doesn't really have too much. Her star absorption and generation are pretty average at best, and she doesn't have anything to increase her overall crit damage, or even increase her gather rate for that matter. So, you know, there's not really going to be much to offer there as far as crits go, but she is able to generate a pretty good amount of stars, so she does get a little bit of a boost in points for that. For her Noble Phantasm, she will also receive 4 stars. It's a pretty solid Noble Phantasm, does a pretty good amount of damage, and has pretty good overcharge effects, but the one major glaring flaw is the fact that it only does decrease the charge for dragon enemies, so it naturally will lose a few points just because of that, since there aren't really that many dragon enemies in the game. For her survivability, though, I am going to give her 5 stars. She's got really high HP at base. She has the invincibility skill at her disposal, and this also applies to damage cut as well. So it's going to be pretty difficult for her to be killed. And being an alter ego, once again, you're going to bring her into an fight where she has the advantage, which means she'll be taking reduced damage as a result. And because of that, obviously it's going to be harder for her to be killed. And then overall for her support, she's only going to get 3 stars. Her only support skill is going to be that damage cut, and that only does last for 3 times, and it's only going to be a 500 damage cut. So it's nothing special, but it is a little bit there, and it can help a little bit for characters that need defense. But outside of that, she's going to be your primary focus for damage dealer, and you're going to have to kind of build a team around her in order to maximize her overall damage. And that will give her overall ranking a 3.8 out of 5. I think she's a pretty good character, and if you don't have an alter ego like Melt or Oki to alter at your disposal, then she's definitely going to be a pretty solid character for you to try and go for. And that's going to be it, guys. That's going to wrap up another character spotlight. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I do have the links below to my Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and Discord, so feel free to check those out, and I'll leave you here with Sitonai's Noble Phantasm.
Phantasm.